Hi there, Jesse here with eTrailer. If you're a B&W Companion owner, then you know it's a super high quality fifth wheel, but that doesn't mean that you don't still need to do regular maintenance on it, and you're also going to see some wear and tear over the years. So this video is just here to kind of walk you through the process of what you need to look out for to prevent any premature wear and to keep your Companion lasting as long as it should. This Companion here, our neighbor has had this for about a year, and he also bought it used, so he's unsure of the previous owner's maintenance schedule and all of that. So you will see some wear and tear up here on top of the saddle. And we also noticed that the slider isn't moving quite as smooth as it should. In fact, I can't even really move it at all by hand, so we'll get that cleaned up and just get the rest of it working as it should. So we'll start out with the Zerk fitting on the Companion. It has one Zerk fitting and it's actually underneath the head. So let's get our clips pulled out, pull our pins out, and lift our head up and flip it over. One thing I should mention is that B&W recommends you do this once every 6 months for regular use. But for the Zerk fitting, you'll just need a grease gun and some multi-purpose grease is what they say to use. Insert it into the Zerk fitting and give it a few pumps. It's also a good time to check out all of your components, make sure everything is in tip-top shape. And one thing I like to do is come through and clean up any of this old grease that you see, because we'll be putting some fresh grease in there, so we don't want to have any of that old stuff that's broken down. Then for our polyurethane bushings up here, we'll just wipe them down like we did with the other part and take some white lithium. Recommend having a rag behind it just so you don't make a mess. Spray it down, you can spread that around a little bit. This will really cut down on any squeaking and also help your bushings last a lot longer. A couple more things you could do, especially if you're someone who's removing your Companion and putting it back in quite frequently. If you've noticed it's getting a little harder to get clicked into place into your puck system, then you can go down to these castle nuts down here and make some adjustments that'll make it a little bit smoother for getting it in and out. Another thing, you could go over each bolt and just make sure it's torqued down to the manufacturer's specification. Here's a closer look at that castle nut I was talking about. There will be 4 of them. So if you're finding that it's a little too loose, doesn't feel like it's going to hold on nice and sturdy, then you can remove that cotter pin and tighten the castle nut. If you're finding that it's fighting you, then you would just do the opposite of that, loosen it up, and reinstall your cotter pin. Now we're moving on to our jaws here. You can see there's a lot of old grease built up in there. I don't recommend spraying brake clean in there. Just get as much with a rag out as you can. Try to get in between the joint back here. Just give it a good wipe down, and then we'll use some more multi-purpose grease and re-grease that with some nice fresh clean grease. And one thing you want to just make sure that you're staying out of the pinch points, because I have this open right now. You don't want to get it closed in there, so just spread the grease around, and then you can work it by just opening and closing your jaws, trying to get that grease in all those hard to reach spots. And for the surface area of our coupler here, this is where you're going to see the most visible wear and tear. As you can see, this is all scratched up. You could keep this covered in grease, but I find it's kind of difficult to keep up with that because this is a metal on metal contact point with your kingpin and this. So one thing I recommend highly is even right when you buy the fifth wheel, just get one of these slide plates here. This will attach to your kingpin, and it's going to really eliminate any of that metal on metal contact and should keep the paint job looking good for many years. Now for the part that we were actually having issues with, our slider rails. I guess when you're stuck like this, you're just going to have to try to force it to move just a bit. So see, I can move it, but what we want to do is get some more white lithium, a really light coating on our rail here. And then we'll just run our slider back and forth to work it in. There are polyurethane bushings in here, so that's probably what's holding us up. They've just gotten dry and they don't want to slide as well. So I'll get some white lithium, spread around both sides, and then just keep working our slider back and forth. Now that we got everything lubed up and checked all of our hardware and different components, made sure that was all good, and of course we got our slider sliding nice and smooth. That should be good for another 6 months. I hope this video helped you understand the importance and also just how to maintain your B&W Companion. If you have any tips or tricks that you want to share with us, please feel free to leave a comment or a review. Otherwise, I'm Jesse. Enjoy the ride.